So, first, you're probably wondering why I have those numbers right there. My topic isn't a very happy one, and hopefully everyone can understand in a personal perspective, or in a perspective somebody else would know about. So let's get started. Some kids grow in a normal, stable home with a loving family. They lead successful lives, raised by parents that loves and cares for them without a care in the world. However, there are some kids that aren't so lucky. Some parents are known to abuse their child, some to beat and neglect. Some may argue that this is just a form of parenting. Others will also argue that this is considered abuse. Today I'm going to explain why taking a child out of an abusive home can do and the end results would be. But more importantly, I'm going to define the fine line between abusing a child and disciplining a child. There are many types of abuse. The main ones such as physical, emotional, and mental abuse. Emotional and mental abuse can still be argued because of the trauma that they went through, but that's through an argument. Anyways, according to PreventChildAbuse.org, child abuse is a form of trauma that impacts a child's cognitive, physical, social, and emotional development. Its effects on physical and mental health are far-reaching and often last a lifetime. The most common forms of physical abuse consist of hitting, kicking, punching, biting, whipping, and burning. People will go in great lengths or be extreme about this, so I have to list as many as possible. Physical abuse can be identified with physical indicators such as welts, human bite marks, bald spots, burns, skeletal and head injuries, along with lacerations, abrasions, dislocation of skin, and explained bruise marks in various stages of healing. Excuse me. Now, as for emotional/mental abuse, it is difficult to know how common it is according to Healthline.com, to be considered unreported. By example, this abuse include name-calling, insulting, threatening violence, allowing children to witness the physical or emotional abuse of another, or even allowing children to use illegal drugs such as crack cocaine and heroin. Understanding the fine line of disciplining a child and abusing a child. Parenting can be rather difficult, but according to Westlaw, a parent may exercise authority over a minor child, which is under 18, that would be torturous if directed towards someone else. For example, a parent may spank a child who has misbehaved without being liable for a battery. Although a parent has the prerogative and the duty to exercise over authority to his or her minor child, this prerogative must be exercised within reasonable limits. So in other words, nothing too extreme. Parents may use corporal punishment, which is physical punishment, to discipline their children, so as long as the force that is not designated to or known to create a substantial risk of death, seriously bodily injury, disfigurement, extreme pain, mental distress, or gross degradation, such as restraining them or tying them up. As I said, these can be listed as, or can be deemed as extreme. Corporal punishment becomes malicious abuse when the parent acts with malicious intent. In other words, wanting to mark up the kid or wanting to leave some sort of trauma that made an impact on the kid in a negative way. What this means is, as the role of the parent, you can spank your child or yell at them if they are misbehaving, but nothing too extreme that would leave mental marks or trauma. Now that I explained the fine line, let's spot the signs together. Domestic child abuse can occur anywhere at any time. I'm not saying to go look for it, but signs shouldn't be ignored either. Some cases could be friends of your child when picking up from school. It could be your own friends who are parents themselves, or a significant other that could be abusing their child. But let us understand this in a broader perspective. Public places and social media. Social media, mainly Facebook, where you see several parents humiliating their child. In some cases, being recorded whipping their child, hitting their child for whatever small case may be. Some other unusual cases where you would have their electronics being destroyed in front of social media. doing whatever they did wrong, but in that case, you're throwing something that had like more value or like money value, like hundreds of dollars. And this is coming from me back in the day where a Game Boy was like the new thing. It only cost like $100. So, or in a personal perspective where I remember getting suspended from school one day, and my mom wasn't too happy about that. So she spanked me a couple times, then grabbed my GameCube and then just like went Hulk on it, just smashed it on the ground, and it basically became a Lego set. As I said, humiliating their child by recording them beating, name-calling their child, or even some cases shaving their hair, or more bizarre cases, destroying electronics, as I mentioned, with no remorse. No matter what the circumstances is, at the end of the day, you're not trying to get the parent in trouble. You're just looking for the benefit of the doubt and the safety of the child. So, the end result would be leading their lives into a happier, broader perspective, into more successful lives where they wouldn't have to cope with every disorder that they were to develop, such as drug addiction, or even influencing from the parents that abused them previously. So in conclusion, disciplining and abuse has a fine line. It is, as members of society, must understand that fine line. Domestic child abuse can happen anywhere and at any time of day. We may not be able to stop every case or report every incident, but with the information I've brought to you today, I hope I've shed some light in the matter. Contact your local agencies as I listed upon the board for more information, hopefully saving a child's life for the better. Thank you.